Well, hey, this is Rosa RCG Creations. How you doing? I'm bringing you my review two circle cutters. Okay, one of them is this from EK Success. This is the packaging it came in. And it's called a circle scissors. It cuts over 120 different circles. Okay, and here's the information on the back. It originally cost $15.99, but I got it for a whopping $7. And here's the information. Let me angle this so you can see that. There's the code information. Let's see. Oh yeah, here it is down here. Here's their address, but you can look it up on the web. Just look up EK Success, or even just put in there circle scissors if you want to order this for yourself. Okay, now I'm for the sake of storage, because I travel a lot, because I travel to different crops, I'm gonna keep all my stuff together in the original packaging. I know it's a little bit bulky, but it's gonna save it and it's gonna keep it, because I used to have one of these from, I don't know if it was We Are Memory Keepers or Martha Stewart, but one of these, and I had it for years and I used it all the time, but then I accidentally dropped it and it broke. So I'm going to be very careful. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that, they're little BBs on the inside, and that's what that's how all Lazy Susans are done, with little BBs, little metal dots of some little pellets. But anyway, that's how you get that circle movement. And each one of these are numbered. And I'll be honest with you, I just got this not too long ago, so I haven't really played with it very much. Okay, and then you get, let's see, you get cutting slots numbered from 25 to 150 mm, printed cross hairlines to aid in placement. Okay, and the hairlines are this little big X right here. Okay, extra plus, actually it's a plus, not an X. That could be an X. Okay, and then the center part is a magnifier. And so if you need to see something better close, that's a magnifier for you. Okay, and then the circle hairlines for determining the circle size, which is this part right here, determines the size of the circle. Okay, let me move this up here so you can actually see. There we go. So these are the sizes right here that determine the size of the circle. Okay, and then you get the round clear cap, which is what I like, because it comes with a cap. So one cap holds the blade and the other cap holds any extra blades for you. Now when I got this, and I know this was already used, because it was sealed, but you could tell, I don't really know if you could tell if it was open or not, because there's only one punch hole in here, and it was all taped up. In fact, I had to take all this apart, so I don't think this was used. It just have been handed around for quite some time, because I'm trying to see on here if it tells you. Some of these products will actually put the year they were manufactured, and unfortunately this one does not. But you can tell this has been around for a while. It's nothing brand new. So anyway, but I don't think this was ever used. But a way you know if your blade is dull. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, I brought these out here. You can use a self-healing mat, or you can use a glass mat. And this is my travel glass mat from Tim Holtz. And you can use a cutter on here. Just don't put too much pressure, because the blade will cut nicks on here. So I tried it, and if your blades are little or dull and you don't have replacement blades, definitely use your glass mat, because it does work a lot smoother. Okay, so let me get back to this self-healing mat here. And then I cut some of this stuff out on my Cricut, and I save it because I do a lot of freehand stuff, so I save all these little spots. As you can see, I already made my little circles, and here's some circles that I already made. I already made them in different colors here. Mostly I did it because I can practice, so I can learn how to use this. Alrighty, and this little blade, once it starts catching, when it starts to drag. Let me see if I can hold. Yeah, there it is, this way. This is not how you're supposed to use it, but I just want to show you. It is a sharp blade, but when it starts to drag and cut your cut, and it's having a little phrase, that means this blade's too old. Okay, you can always put bunch up a couple of pieces of aluminum foil, and then poke this, and this will give it a little bit of new life, and that way you can extend the life of your blade. Or I already came with a bunch of extra pieces, so I've got like 6 extra blades with me. I don't do a whole lot of circles. I do some, but not a whole lot and stuff. But so I've got enough blades, so I'm just going to throw that one in the garbage. And actually, I'm going to punch it up in a ball because I don't want the X6 blade to maybe mix something or make a hole in the bag. So always try to do this with your blades just for safety reasons. Because you never know, if we forget we lost something, we're going to go dig it into a trash can, and you don't want an open blade to cut you. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how this works. I'm still a little bit rusty because I've only done like maybe 7 or 8 of these blades, these cutouts on it. So, but I get the main gist of it. The main gist of it is you line this up to the size of the circle that you want. So I'm just going to do this for the sake of space. I'm going to do this little small one because I don't have that much room. And then you get you'll see the blade. There's a cutting blade, and this does swivel. Be very careful because this is sharp. And you'll see where there's the cutting blade, which is the little tip right in there. And you want to line this up upright and the little notches. You'll see the little notches there. So you want to line this up inside the notches with the tip of the blade. And the tip of the blade, you want it to face your wrist. Okay, so let me get back and line myself up. Put this in the groove. Hold on to it with one hand. Oops, let me hold my paper here. Don't put too much pressure because you want it to smooth. You want it to smooth easily. And you always want to hold it upright. See, I'm caught on something. That's one of the things I did notice that I didn't care for this. But a lot of this is just practice, trial and error. Okay. You can see it cut, but I wasn't putting enough pressure on there. So let me get myself another little spot. I'm going to use my hand to hold this with. And let's try this again. So I'm going to get my little spot in here. I want to make sure I got my blade. The blade is touched towards my wrist. The same wrist that I have holding. Okay, and it cut, and there you go. Not too shabby, huh? So let's do another one, only because I'm being frugal and I can. Let's see, I'm turning it around and do this other side. Let's do another little circle one, and let's see if we can make it nice and smooth. So let's do the little circle. Let me line up my blade. The blade's got to touch be aiming my wrist. Hold this upright. Don't put a whole lot of pressure down. And I could you can feel the blade getting caught on your mat. So depending on your mat, how many grooves and nicks it has. Okay, I went all the way around. Oh, I didn't cut out. I didn't have to put enough pressure on that end, but that's okay because look, it still made a pretty good cut. Okay, now we're going to do the glass mat. Oops, Ouch! Gotta be careful. Alrighty, now let's go back here. And let's see if we can get in. Let's do another little small circle. Stay in our area. Same thing. I'm holding on to the paper because I don't want it to move around on me. I will tell you, I tried this with smaller paper. It doesn't work well. You have to be able to hold the paper because it does move on you. Okay, so let's go to the smallest hole. You don't have to put a lot of pressure. And there you go. And there's your cut. So you can see that you get it, it's easier to work on glass. So this really is meant, I did a lot of YouTubing and I did some Googling and I did some looking on the internet and web, and almost everyone that I saw that was using this used a glass cutting mat. So I don't have a glass cutting because this is not really, I don't really want to use this to use as a regular basis for my cutting. So I think I'm going to invest in a glass cutting mat so I can use this, and then I can travel with them together and keep my glass mat with this all the time, because it is a lot smoother, as you can just see, when you're working on glass versus working on a self-healing mat. Okay, so that is this tool here. I also have this Fiskars circle cutter, and this is what I've had this for years. Okay, and I like it because there's a lock. There's a little picture of two locks in here, and there's a picture right here of a lock here, and that's for the blade. So I'm going to move it here to unlock it, and this is what moves the blade up and down. This is what allows you to change your blades around. And you can get these at pretty much any box store. You can go to them on the internet too. Okay, so you just drop it in there, put it in the housing, and so this is what you take with you to travel. And because there's an indentation there, the blade doesn't ever touch anything, so it doesn't dull on you. And then close it and then lock it. That way it doesn't move. Whoops. That way it doesn't move on you. See? And you can travel with it, and you don't have to worry about getting cut. Okay, but so this is just a cover. This is a cover, a blade. I call it a blade cover. I don't really know what the name of it is. Okay, so let me get my self-healing mat. And then I'm just going to show you how you can do a freehand. This is a mess up that I made on a card. Okay, but let's just say I wanted to cut this message out. Okay, so I'm going to do this in my pencil. And let's just say I want to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around. You can do freehand or draw something and cut around it. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to line up your blade. You want to push it down, hold on to your paper, and then basically you're just going to follow the pencil mark and it's going to cut. But because this is freehand, and I'm not really so particular of it being exactly right on the line, okay, because my main gist for this is I want, and I'm going to just swivel, I'm going to leave this the way it is, but I'm going to swivel my cardstock so I can go around and cut around this message, because even though I messed up on the front of the card, the items that I was using, that ink was dry. Okay, and I'm going to leave this right here, and I'm going to swivel my mat because I'm going to make this easy on me. Okay, and I'm going to turn this around so I can see, because what I'm doing is I'm looking right here through the blade. Oops. And I'm trying to go around on the line, the pencil mark. And I'm holding it with my left hand now. because I'm a righty. Okay, I started over here. I was like, where did I start at? I forget. I'm going to turn this around so I can see. This is what's nice about this is more for freehand cutting. So if you don't have any dies, you don't have an electronic cutting machine, you know, go do the old-fashioned way like we used to do before we had all these fancy machines. And then do it yourself. And this makes a perfect little tool for that. Okay, that didn't cut all the way through, but that's okay. Right there, I cut that out. There it is. Now all I have to do is erase the pencil mark. I was a little close on the R, but that's okay because it was close to the paper. There's nothing I could do about that. So I saved it. And now I want to save the edges because you don't see this little groovy here? It didn't cut. It got a little snag. I'm just going to freehand this part right there. Okay. And I got some pencil here. I need to erase that. Pencil here. I want to erase that. So all the pencil mark is erased. Everything's on there. It's got a pretty smooth edge, but I could see the little groove right in here. My OCD's kicking in, and I have to fix it. So I'm going to make it more of a smoother edge, and see, I just smoothed it all out. And this little tip here, I don't like that little tip there, because remember, this is your creation, and you make it how you want to make it. And then that little, remember that edge that got snagged? I've smoothed it all out. There I go. So you just created a die cut. Now let me do this, because this one's easy. Plain little square. I don't know how it's going to do because this ink is all bunched up. But let's just see how it works. I really don't know. I've never tried it, so let's just see. So I'm going to line this up right on the mark. And I'm going to follow the black line. So if you misplace your scissors, but you want to hurry up and cut something, this cuts straight, freehand, no ruler. Look at that. Cut it. Let's do the other edge. Okay, I'm going to line this up. You don't have to put a whole lot of pressure, but then again, it depends on the thickness of the cardstock that you're using. And because this is a nice little blade, you can definitely do it with chipboard and it'll still cut. Okay. I didn't go on the edges, but that's okay. Oh, actually, I did. I just wasn't pulling long enough. Okay, I didn't cut all the way through here, so let's go back. The edge of the blade swivels. This is how you're able to have such control over what you're doing. And there we go. Now let's see how this does on this. This is some Cosmic Shimmer Opal Glaze Polish, but it was all dried up. I didn't realize, and I was putting it on there, I didn't realize it was all dried up. So it was a mess up. I wanted all this to be the background, shiny like this, but it dried up on me. So that was the end of that project. So I ruined one card front with this. And look, even though I'm going over the bubbled edges of the opal glaze, it's still gliding because the blade is not on the opal glaze. Well, actually, it was just now on that little spot right there. And there's a little tip. Now let's do the end. And actually, I could have just stayed right where I was at. I'm going to show you. I could have stayed right where I was at. Push down. Turn my paper. Pull up on the pressure of the machine, the little tool itself. Sorry, I just moved because I needed to move up because I was coming off the mat, cutting mat. Okay. There we go. And there we go. And there's our cut. Yeah, I'm off a little bit here. But you know what? I'm doing this freehand. So I'm just going to come with my scissors. And I'm going to trim it. And then I also, see, I just want to make a little of my own little design. See how much you could do with this? See how it cuts it? So if you want to make some rolling hills, you want to make some grass. Because remember, this is just a regular blade. It's just a smaller tip blade, but it's self-controlling, so you can do all kinds of things with it. You know, write a name, write a picture, draw a picture, whatever. Do some freehand stuff, but it's just a scrap, so no big deal. But anyway, that is, I'm going to unlock it so I can release that. Put it back in its housing. Lock it back up. I'm trying to think of what do we do with this? This bottom half, why do we want the lock for? There was a reason why you wanted this to lock and unlock. Let me see. Okay, there's an arrow. You know what, I'm going to unlock this. I'm going to take my blade out because I must say, why do we care if that's locked or unlocked? You know what, let me Google it and find out, because I don't know, but there's a reason why there's a lock and unlock on this part, but I don't know what it is. I'll look it up. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I found out what this was. Say you have a template. There's these templates that they have. I don't have any, but they're the Fiskars templates. But you can use any template you have. And when this thing here is for you, you take the housing off. And let's pretend this is a template. So let's just pretend this is a little metal. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this as the template. Okay. I don't want to mess that because I want to cut that circle. Okay. So what you do, actually that's not going to work on there. I'm going to need something smaller. I need something smaller. I don't have any templates that are smaller. Let's just use this. Pretend this is a plastic template with different shapes and styles, whatever. Okay, and I'm going to do this circle right here. So this lets you do the freehand cutting, almost what I did with the other housing. Oh, okay, this is on lock. Yeah, nope, that's not on there. Put my blade back in. Close this. Put this on lock, so now it doesn't move. Okay, and let's just say I want to cut on the inside. Say I want to cut this hot air balloon right here, because this was a hot air balloon. Okay, so this lets you have the freehand cutting. And what you're doing is you're cutting on the inside of your template. And because this swivels, you're just following the shape of the template is all you're doing. because the blade moves around. But typically, it's just like this paper, it would not move because it's hard plastic. But basically what this does is this turns into a freehand cutter, and all you're doing is cutting on the inside or the outside of your hard surface template, whatever it is that you have. I wish I had some, but I don't. So for those of you who do, there you go. And there's your cut. Actually, that's kind of looks like a little tree, doesn't it? Like a little trunk. But there you go on that. But I wanted to show you this. And let me take the cover back off. I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to lock it. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did a while ago. Is the freehand. And I'm just going to put this on the pencil mark. And this is another item. The more you practice, the easier it gets. I got off the line there a little bit. I could see it. But that's okay. But again, like I said, the more you practice with this, the easier it is to work with it. And you want to stay in the line as much as possible. You can work slowly like I'm doing here, or you can work fast. It's totally up to you. And I just went off again. So this is definitely something that's going to take practice. Oh, and one thing is when your tool is down here, always lay it inside the case so that way that you don't damage the blade. So keep this always close to you of where you're going to be working. And you can see, look, I didn't finish it off, so I'm going to start right here. So I'm going to go right back where I was. Let's see, where did I end up at? Okay. Put it back there. And there's my cut. Yeah, I can see the pencil mark, but you know what? I don't care because I'm just going to use the back part. But see the little nicks? I can't handle that. So I'm just going to nick them off. Just going to use my scissors. And if you were just use on the other side of the pencil mark, and you're going to freehand cut this, which is really taken away from the whole point of doing this. But my whole point of this is, if you're low on funds, low on craft area, you have to keep a limited supply of tools to do your crafting. And you know, it doesn't have to be crafting. You can do this for anything, any household use, whatever. Your kids may need some stuff for school. This is a perfect little tool because look how, number one, it's protective, so the little kids won't cut themselves. It locks into place. It's going to lock into place. This right here is a little knob that you turn to see how big of the size of the circle that you want to make. Okay. And so this is the size measurements right here. And then you just turn it here and it does that for you. And let me get myself some more paper. I'm in my green stash. Let's see. Okay. I am going to... Okay, so that's one end. Let's see what happens. How big is... Okay, what did that? Didn't do anything. They said this is... I wonder if that has something to do with it. Okay. Let's go this way. Let's see what does that do. Okay, that's fine. What you want to do when you first get it, after you pick it up and drop it, is you scroll it on your healing mat, and that lines up the blade so it's a right angle. Okay, so that cut fine. That, look how smooth that is. That's really smooth. But I'm going to be honest with you, I don't understand what... Oh, I see. You know, the more that you turn it, you see this tension here? Oh, I know what that is. This is for the thickness of the paper you're using. If you're using thinner paper or thicker paper, cardstock, that's what this is for, because this is taking the tension off the depth of the blade. So if I'm going to be using, this is a thicker cardstock. So this would be good for like cutting like chipboard, oh, what's that, the glitter paper, because it's a lot thicker than regular cardstock, or even, I have some right here. Regular plain Jane copy paper. So you want to put this on the thinnest portion, because this is copy paper. So that's, you don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on this. You want the blade to do all the cutting for you. Okay, that didn't do anything there. So that means that blade is not touching really very much there. So let's just move this over a couple of notches. And you'll feel a little bit of a tension. And I think this is where it needs to go at. Yeah, there it is. You can feel, I can feel it. Okay, so this, when you feel the notches, you feel when you're turning it, you'll feel it to get a little bit harder to turn. So that's going to determine how much depth the blade needs to do some cutting. So let's just go further down. And so of course it cuts because this is just plain paper. Now let's go do some, throw this away. Let's go do some cardstock. Okay, and I'm going to do cardstock a little bit further down. Well, that's really, really smooth. I like that. There we go. See? Look at that. That is neato. Neato, neato, neato. And you used all your extra scraps that you do have. So now this is garbage because there's not enough space for me to keep it. It's not worth it. This one, I'm still going to do a couple more circle cutouts here. But I'm pretty much done with that one. And this one, I'm going to save myself space. So what I'm going to do is, let me get all this trash out of here. I want to save this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up on my mat. I want to save this spot, so I'm going to cut from right here garbage. Save my scraps, and I did not have to use my scissors. So to me, this one is a definite win-win. A lot of definite usage. I like the fact that it locks. I like the fact that you can use these with plastic hard templates. This is the old-fashioned ways we used to do before we got die cutting machines. I know I have some, but I have a stash that it's in a box. It's in the back bedroom. That if we have no power, because we've gone here, because I'm in South Texas, 1 to 2 weeks with no power, which is terrible. But no TV, and you want to be very limited on your cell phone, no internet. So I still can craft. So I kept my old hard templates. So I'll go out and dig them out, and I make my own designs because I can't use my die cutting machines. I can still use my Cuttlebug because it's manual, but I can't do any of my electronic stuff or do my die cutting. If I don't have a dice I can still create my own shape because I can just pencil it in and then use this to cut it out, especially if it's going to be a really factory designs, and or do my old regular old-fashioned scissors. So this is just a nice way to do some cutting. And you have your tools. Where'd my pencil go? Ooh, where did my little pen go? There's my pencil. Oh, here it is. Lost it because I was like, I know I didn't put the blade. I gotta be careful where it went. The one thing with this is, because this is a pen, this doesn't have a cover to it. Always, if you can, try to remember, like just now when I just couldn't find it. If I wanted to go grab something really quick, I could have cut myself. Always, when you're done using it, put your cover back on, just for your own protection, because the blade is sharp. And then, of course, you have the extra blades here. So I'm going to go get my stash and put myself 2 more extra blades, because if I take this to a crop and I'm at a 1 or 2 day crop, I want to make sure I have extra blades with me, because I don't want to have to quit using this because the blade is all dull. And I don't carry foil with me all the time. I know I should, but I don't. But I have a roll of foil here that I keep in my craft room, so when I need to sharpen my trimmer, I just put it through my trimmer, my blade through my trimmer, and I extend the life of my blades without having to purchase new blades and stuff. But this is my personal opinion, and I'm going to be honest with you. This is for sure is a definite thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up for sure. This one is a thumbs up because you can do over 120 different sizes of circles, and I like the flexibility. I just need to practice more with it. I know I have to. Like my other one that I used to have, but I used it all the time because this was before I had this and before I got my die cutting machine. So I was constantly using it all the time. Okay, but this one, it's been going on 4 years now that I haven't used it. So I've just been getting my die cut machine, and I've been using my Cricut cartridges whenever I want to make circles and stuff, or I just just draw it freehand. I'm an artist, so I'll just do freehand circles. But I also have a bunch of punches too. So, but this is nice because this way I can just use this, and I don't have to worry about any punches. I just leave my punches here, but I can take them with me to my crops, and then I just have to carry this. It's lightweight. And it's something easy to carry or transport. And again, like I said, if you're limited in space, you're limited in funds, invest on one of these tools. Personally, I would get both. Just for the simple fact is, this one does so many more sizes. This one does, but you have to know already what the size is. This one, you don't have to think about it. It's because all these little dials, these little holes, they all have a number on them. Okay? And I'll put in the description box how you know, like, what size is this? Like, is this a 1 inch, a ½ an inch, 2 inch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? I don't really know, but I'll put it in the description box on the sizes, so this way we'll know what it says, and I'll put that on there. Let's see if I can find it. I'm sure it's on the internet. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Bye bye.